Hey guys, tonight we begin with something that freezes the blood before it even leaves your veins. A nightmare wrapped in snow and wrapped again in absolute terror. We are diving into what it was really like to march through the frozen hell of World War II's coldest battlefields. And I am talking about the Battle of the Bulge, the Ardennes Offensive, December 1944. Forget everything you think you know about winter. The truth is you probably would not survive even the first night. So before we get started, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from and what time it is for you. It is always fascinating to see who is joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let us ease into tonight's journey together. Congratulations, you have just been deployed to the Ardennes Forest in Belgium. It is December 16th, 1944. The temperature is -20 degrees Celsius. The snow is 3 feet deep in places. Your boots have holes in them. Your uniform was designed for autumn weather. You have not eaten a hot meal in 4 days. And somewhere in those dark, frozen woods, an entire German army is about to crash down on your position like an avalanche made of steel and hatred. Welcome to the coldest, most brutal winter offensive of the entire war. Welcome to a place where frostbite kills more men than bullets. Welcome to the Ardennes. Chapter 1. The first morning in hell. You wake up and immediately wish you had not. Actually, wake up is not the right word. You never really slept. You spent the night shivering so violently that your muscles ache like you have been beaten with clubs. Your foxhole is a shallow depression in frozen ground that you could only dig down 18 inches before hitting soil so hard it might as well be concrete. The snow kept falling all night, and now there is a thin layer of it covering your sleeping bag. Except your sleeping bag is not rated for this kind of cold. Nothing you have is rated for this kind of cold. You try to move and your body refuses. Your fingers will not bend. Your toes feel like blocks of wood attached to your feet. When you finally force yourself to sit up, every joint screams in protest. This is not the romantic snow you see in Christmas movies. This is the kind of cold that gets inside your bones and starts making plans to stay there permanently. The forest around you looks like something from a fairy tale, but the nightmare kind. Massive pine trees heavy with snow. Everything silent except for the occasional crack of a branch breaking under the weight of ice. The sky is that particular shade of gray that means more snow is coming. And it is always coming. The Ardennes in winter is a snow machine that never turns off. Your foxhole buddy, a kid from Michigan named Danny, is curled up in a ball, trying to preserve body heat. He is shaking so hard you can hear his teeth chattering. There is frost in his eyebrows. Actual frost. His lips are blue. You probably look exactly the same. Here is what nobody told you about cold like this. It is not just uncomfortable. It is actively trying to kill you. Every single second. Your body is burning calories at an insane rate just trying to keep your core temperature stable. You are losing that battle. Hypothermia does not announce itself with trumpets. It sneaks up on you. First you are cold. Then you are really cold. Then you stop feeling cold, which is when you know you are in serious trouble. You have been in this forest for 3 days. You have already seen 2 guys from your platoon evacuated for frostbite. One of them lost 3 toes. The other one cannot move his fingers anymore. The medic said something about tissue death. You try not to think about it, but your own feet feel suspiciously numb. The forest is dense. Visibility is maybe 50 yards on a good day. On a day like today, with snow falling and fog rolling through the trees, you can barely see 30 feet. This is perfect ambush country. The Germans know these woods. They have been planning this offensive for months. You got here 3 days ago, and your commanding officer keeps saying everything is quiet. Too quiet. You need to get out of this hole and start moving. Movement means warmth, at least temporarily. But movement also means exposing yourself. And somewhere out there in the white silence you can feel eyes watching. The Germans are coming. You do not know when. You do not know from where. But they are coming. Welcome to December 16th, 1944. The Battle of the Bulge is about to begin, and you are standing directly in its path. Chapter 2. What you are wearing and why it is not enough. Let us talk about your uniform because this is where things get cosmically unfair. You are wearing what the Army calls the M1943 field jacket. It is a decent piece of kit for autumn weather. For a Belgian winter where temperatures regularly drop to -20°C, it is essentially a cotton death sentence. The jacket is made of wind-resistant cotton sateen. Wind-resistant. Not windproof. Not insulated. Wind-resistant. That is like saying your umbrella is rain-resistant. Technically true, but practically useless. Underneath you have got a wool shirt and a cotton undershirt. Wool is good. Wool stays warm even when wet. But there is not enough of it, and wet is the permanent state of everything in this forest. Your trousers are cotton twill. Again, fine for mild weather. Catastrophically inadequate for this. The Army did issue some winter gear, but not nearly enough for everyone. The guys who got the pile jackets and the overcoats are the lucky ones. You are not one of the lucky ones. You got standard issue everything, which means you are about as prepared for this cold as you would be for a beach vacation. Your boots are the real problem. They are leather, which sounds good until you realize that leather soaks up moisture like a sponge. Your feet sweat. The snow melts from your body heat. The moisture has nowhere to go. Your socks are wool, which helps, but they are soaked through. You have been wearing the same socks for 5 days. There are no replacements. Changing socks sounds like basic hygiene until you realize that you would have to take your boots off in -20° weather, expose your wet feet to the air, put on socks that are only slightly less wet, and somehow do all of this while your fingers are too cold to work properly. Most guys do not change their socks. They just accept that their feet are going to be wet and hope for the best. Hope is not a great strategy against frostbite. You are wearing a steel helmet that is so cold it burns when it touches your skin. You have got a wool cap underneath, but it barely helps. Your ears are exposed. Frostbite loves ears. Ears and noses and fingers and toes. All the parts that stick out are the first to go. Your hands are covered by wool glove inserts inside leather shells. The leather is frozen stiff. Your trigger finger is exposed because you need to be able to shoot. But that means your trigger finger is taking the full force of the cold. You have seen guys with trigger fingers so numb they cannot pull the trigger even when they need to. That is a problem when someone is shooting at you. Let's be very clear about something. The U.S. Army knew this offensive was coming. Intelligence reports had been warning about German troop buildups for weeks. But the decision was made to hold this sector with minimal forces because everyone thought the Ardennes was too difficult for the Germans to attack through. The terrain was too rough. The weather was too bad. Surely nobody would be crazy enough to launch a major offensive through a frozen forest in the middle of winter. Except that is exactly what the Germans are about to do. And you are about to find out that difficult terrain does not stop bullets. You are cold now. You are going to get colder. And there is nothing you can do about it except keep moving and hope your body holds out. Chapter 3: Breakfast is a memory. You are hungry, not peckish, not ready for a snack. Genuinely, painfully hungry in a way that makes your stomach cramp and your head feel light. The last hot meal you had was 4 days ago. Since then, you have been living on rations and whatever you can scavenge. Rations are the Army's attempt to pack a full day's worth of nutrition into 3 small boxes: breakfast, dinner, and supper. Each box contains around 3,000 calories, which sounds like a lot until you realize your body is burning calories at an insane rate just trying to keep you warm. In normal conditions, 3,000 calories is plenty. In -20° weather, while carrying 60 pounds of gear, while digging foxholes in frozen ground, you need closer to 5,000 or 6,000 calories per day just to maintain your weight. You are losing weight. Everyone is losing weight. Your belt has gained 2 notches in the last week. The ration breakfast contains a can of chopped ham and eggs. Sounds good. In reality, it is a congealed mass of protein that tastes like salted cardboard. There are some crackers that are so hard they could be used as weapon. There is a compressed cereal bar that has the texture of sawdust. There is soluble coffee, which is actually not terrible if you have hot water. You do not have hot water. You have not had hot water in days. Everything in your ration is frozen solid. The ham and eggs can is frozen. You cannot open it without warming it up first. How do you warm it up? You stick it inside your jacket against your body, and let your own body heat slowly thaw it over the course of an hour. This means you are using precious calories to heat your food, which means you are burning energy to gain energy, which is the most inefficient system imaginable. Some guys try to heat their rations over little fires. This is dangerous for multiple reasons. First, smoke gives away your position. Second, the Germans have started using artillery to target any smoke they see. Third, starting a fire with wet wood in a snowstorm is nearly impossible. But hunger makes people desperate, and desperation makes people stupid. Danny manages to get a tiny fire going using some pine needles and a piece of wax paper from his ration pack. He is trying to warm his ham and eggs can. The fire is pathetic, barely larger than a candle flame, but it is something. You huddle around it like it is a bonfire. The heat feels amazing for approximately 30 seconds before the wind picks up and blows it out. No fire, no hot food, no hot coffee. Just frozen rations eaten with fingers that are too numb to feel anything. Here is the thing about cold and hunger. They combine in terrible ways. When you are cold, your body needs more calories. When you do not have enough calories, your body cannot generate heat. It is a death spiral, and you can feel yourself sliding down it. The crackers are impossible to eat because they are frozen and your jaw hurts from clenching against the cold. The cereal bar is like trying to bite into a brick. You end up just holding things in your mouth until they thaw enough to chew. This takes forever. By the time you finish breakfast, if you can call it that, you have been awake for 2 hours and you are still hungry. There is no lunch. There is no dinner. There is just the slow, grinding reality of never having enough food and never being warm enough to enjoy what little you have. And this is before the fighting starts. This is just a normal day in the Ardennes. Wait until you hear what happens when the Germans attack. Chapter 4. The foxhole that will not dig. Your orders are simple. Dig in. Establish defensive positions. Prepare for possible enemy contact. Digging a foxhole in summer soil takes maybe an hour if you are working hard. Digging a foxhole in frozen Ardennes soil is like trying to dig through concrete with a spoon. You have got an entrenching tool. It is a small folding shovel that works great in normal conditions. In this frozen nightmare, it is basically decorative. The ground is frozen solid to a depth of about 18 inches. Below that, if you can get below that, the soil is workable. But getting through that first 18 inches is a Herculean task. You start digging. The first few strikes with the shovel bounce off the frozen surface like you are hitting rock. You adjust your angle. You try to chip away at it bit by bit. Your shoulders are burning. Your hands are numb. The shovel handle is so cold it is painful to hold even through your gloves. After 30 minutes of non-stop work, you have made a depression about 6 inches deep. This is not enough. A proper foxhole needs to be at least 4 feet deep to provide adequate cover. At this rate, you will be digging for 6 hours just to get to minimum depth. And you do not have 6 hours. The temperature is dropping. It is going to be dark in a few hours. And somewhere out there, the German army is moving. Danny is working on his foxhole 15 feet away. He is having the same problem. Every soldier in the line is having the same problem. The forest is filled with the sound of entrenching tools hitting frozen earth and accomplishing nothing. Some guys try to use explosives to loosen the soil. This is officially forbidden, but desperation makes its own rules. They take a quarter-pound block of TNT, bury it just under the surface, light the fuse, and run. The explosion cracks the frozen layer and makes digging easier. It also alerts every German within a mile radius to your exact position. Not ideal. You keep digging. Your back is screaming. Your hands are bleeding inside your gloves from the repetitive impact. The hole is maybe 12 inches deep now. You hit a root. Of course you hit a root. This forest is full of roots. You try to chop through it with your shovel. The root wins. You have to dig around it. Here is what nobody tells you about foxholes. They are not just holes in the ground. They are complex engineering projects. You need drainage because otherwise water and melted snow will pool at the bottom and you will be sitting in an ice bath. You need overhead cover to protect against tree bursts when artillery hits the trees above you and sends splinters down like wooden shrapnel. You need firing positions that give you a good field of view while keeping you protected. You need space for your gear. You need it to be deep enough that you can crouch below ground level. You are not going to achieve any of this. The best you can hope for is a shallow depression that provides minimal cover and maximum misery. By the time darkness falls, you have got a hole that is maybe 2 feet deep and just wide enough for you to squeeze into if you fold yourself into a compact ball of suffering. This is home. This is where you will spend the night. This is where you will probably die if the Germans decide to shell this position. You climb in. The bottom is hard frozen earth. There is no padding, no comfort, just rock-hard cold ground pressing into every part of your body. You try to arrange your gear to create some kind of cushion. It does not work. Everything is hard. Everything is cold. The temperature is dropping fast. It is going to be a long night. And tomorrow you get to do this all over again. Chapter 5: The Water Problem. Let us talk about water because this is where things get weird. You are surrounded by snow. Snow is water. So you should be fine, right? Wrong. Everything about water in the Ardennes is a problem. First, eating snow to hydrate yourself is a terrible idea. Your body has to melt that snow, which requires heat, which requires calories. You are already calorie deficient. Eating snow makes it worse. Plus, snow in a combat zone is often contaminated. Artillery residue, diesel fuel from vehicles, human waste. The snow might look pure and white, but it is a bacterial nightmare. Your canteen is frozen solid. The water inside turned to ice sometime during the night. Now you have got a lump of ice in a metal container. You cannot drink it. You cannot pour it. It is just dead weight on your belt. Some guys try to thaw their canteens by putting them inside their jackets. This works slowly, but it also means you are using your body heat to melt ice, which means you are getting colder to have something to drink. The math is terrible, but you do it anyway because dehydration will kill you faster than hypothermia. The streams and creeks in the forest are mostly frozen. The ones that are not frozen are running so cold that drinking from them drops your core temperature immediately. You try anyway because thirst is not a polite request. It is a demand. You kneel by a creek that is still flowing. The water is so cold it hurts your teeth. You fill your canteen as fast as you can because your hands are going numb from the water. The stream water is probably not safe to drink, but you do not have water purification tablets, and even if you did, you do not have the time or the fire to boil water. So you drink it and hope for the best. Here is the thing about dehydration in cold weather. You do not realize it is happening because you are not sweating, but you are losing water constantly through respiration. Every breath you take in the cold air, you exhale moisture. Over the course of a day, you can lose a significant amount of water this way. And because you are not thirsty in the traditional sense, you forget to drink. By the time you realize you are dehydrated, you are already in trouble. The medic told you to drink at least 2 quarts of water per day. That is 8 cups. You have had maybe 2 cups in the last 24 hours. Your urine is dark yellow. Your lips are cracked and bleeding. Your head aches. These are all signs of dehydration. But there is nothing you can do about it because water is a luxury you do not have reliable access to. There is no coffee. There is no tea. There is no hot chocolate. There is just frozen canteens and creek water that tastes like minerals and despair. Danny tries to make coffee using snow and his little sterno stove. The snow melts into about a tablespoon of water. He needs a cup. He melts more snow. And more. It takes him 20 minutes to melt enough snow to make half a cup of coffee. The coffee is instant powder from his K-ration. Tastes like burnt dirt. He drinks it anyway and says it is the best thing he has had all day. You are thirsty. You are always thirsty. And the terrible irony is that you are surrounded by water in its frozen form, but accessing it requires resources you do not have. It only gets worse from here. Chapter 6. The Forest at Night. Night falls and the forest transforms into something primordial and terrifying. The temperature drops another 10 degrees. You are in your foxhole. Danny is in his foxhole. The rest of your platoon is spread out in a defensive line that feels far too thin for the amount of forest you are supposed to be covering. It is dark. Not city dark. Not suburban dark with streetlights and houses. This is forest dark. This is the kind of dark that existed before humans invented fire. The only light comes from the snow, which reflects starlight just enough to create shadows but not enough to actually see anything useful. You cannot use a flashlight. Light discipline is absolute. Any light gives away your position, so you sit in your hole and listen. The forest is not silent. Trees crack under the weight of ice. Snow falls from branches with soft whooshing sounds. Small animals move through the underbrush. The wind moans through the pines. Every single sound could be a German patrol. Every shadow could be enemy movement. Your eyes play tricks. You see shapes that are not there. Movement in your peripheral vision that disappears when you look directly at it. Is that a man crawling toward your position? No, it is a snow-covered log. Is that someone moving between the trees? No, it is branches swaying in the wind. Probably. You are supposed to be on watch for 2 hours, then Danny takes over for 2 hours, and you alternate through the night. This is the theory. In practice, you are both so cold and exhausted that staying alert is nearly impossible. Your eyelids are heavy. Your brain is foggy from cold and hunger. You keep nodding off and jerking awake in a panic. Convinced, you just let the enemy walk right up to your position. The sound of artillery in the distance is constant. Not close enough to be immediately dangerous, but close enough to be a reminder that somewhere, men are dying. The flashes on the horizon light up the sky in brief orange pulses. You count the seconds between the flash and the sound. It is maybe 3 miles away. For now, Danny whispers something from his foxhole. You cannot hear him. He whispers again, louder. He thinks he heard something. You both freeze, listening. The forest holds its breath. Nothing, or maybe something. You cannot tell. This is psychological warfare. The Germans know you are out here. They are good at forest operations. They move quietly. They are patient. They wait for you to let your guard down. And then they strike. You grip your rifle tighter. Your finger is on the trigger guard because putting it on the trigger when you are this cold and this scared is a good way to accidentally shoot at nothing and give away your position. Your hands are shaking. From the cold or from fear, you cannot tell anymore. Hours pass. The night is endless. You are colder than you have ever been in your life. Your teeth are chattering so hard you are worried the sound will give you away. Your feet have no feeling whatsoever. You wiggle your toes inside your boots to make sure they still work. You think they do. You cannot be certain. A flare goes up somewhere to your left. Bright white light floods the forest. Shadows jump. Everything is exposed. You press yourself flat into your foxhole, trying to disappear. The flare drifts down on its parachute, swinging back and forth, making the shadows dance. Then it goes out and the darkness crashes back down like a physical weight. False alarm, or a probing action, or the start of something worse. You do not know. Welcome to Night Watch in the Ardennes, where sleep is impossible, warmth is a memory, and every shadow wants to kill you. Chapter 7. The breakfast that never comes. Dawn arrives and you realize with sinking certainty that you are still alive. This should be good news. It does not feel like good news. It feels like you have won a lottery nobody wanted to enter. Another day in this frozen hell. You try to move. Your body has other ideas. Every muscle is locked up from the cold and from spending the night curled in a hole that was never designed for human habitation. Your back feels like someone drove over it with a truck. Your knees will not straighten. Your fingers look like frozen sausages attached to hands you do not recognize anymore. Danny is worse. He is not moving at all. You call out to him. Nothing. You call again, louder. Finally he groans and shifts slightly. He is alive. Barely. He climbed out of his foxhole and you can see his face is gray. His lips are blue. His eyes are unfocused. These are bad signs. The platoon sergeant makes his rounds. He looks like death. Everyone looks like death. He tells you hot breakfast is coming. Nobody believes him. Hot breakfast has been coming for 4 days. It never arrives. The supply trucks cannot get through. The roads are blocked by snow and ice. The trucks that do try to make it get hit by German artillery or ambushed by German patrols. You eat another K-ration. Frozen ham. Frozen crackers. Frozen everything. Your jaw hurts from trying to chew food that has the consistency of frozen rubber. You manage to get some calories down. Not enough. Never enough. The coffee powder mocks you. You cannot make coffee without hot water. You cannot make hot water without fire. You cannot make fire without giving away your position. So the coffee powder stays in its packet, useless. You are dizzy, lightheaded. Your vision has spots at the edges. These are signs of hypothermia setting in. Your core temperature is dropping. Your body is starting to shut down non-essential functions to preserve the essential ones. Soon your brain will start making bad decisions. You will feel warm even though you are freezing. You will want to take off your clothes. You will think everything is fine even as you are dying. You recognize these symptoms because the medic briefed everyone on hypothermia before you deployed. He said to watch for confusion, slurred speech, loss of coordination, and paradoxical undressing. He said if you see someone doing these things, get them warm immediately or they will die. You are not quite there yet, but you can feel the edge getting closer. Some guys are trading rations. A kid from Brooklyn has chocolate. He will trade it for cigarettes. You do not smoke, but you would kill for that chocolate. The sugar, the calories, the tiny moment of pleasure in a world that has forgotten what pleasure means. You have nothing to trade. The kid from Brooklyn eats his chocolate himself. You do not blame him. There is supposed to be a supply drop. Planes are going to fly over and drop supplies by parachute. The sergeant says it is happening at noon. Noon comes and goes. No planes. No supplies. Just more snow and more cold and more waiting. You are starting to understand that nobody is coming to save you. The army has bigger problems than one understrength battalion freezing in the Ardennes. The big picture involves stopping the German offensive. You are just one small pixel in that picture. If you freeze to death, the picture does not change much. This is a dark thought. You try to push it away, but it comes back. It always comes back. Chapter 8. The sound you do not want to hear. It is mid-morning on December 16th. You are trying to warm your hands by tucking them into your armpits. It is not working. Nothing works. Then you hear it. Artillery. Distant at first. A low rumble like thunder. Except it is not thunder. It is the sound of German guns opening up along the entire front. Hundreds of guns. Maybe thousands. The sound builds and builds until it is a continuous roar that shakes the ground beneath your feet. The sergeant is yelling something, but you cannot hear him over the noise. Trees are exploding. Not near you. Not yet. But close enough. The Germans are softening up the front lines before they attack. This is textbook combined arms warfare. Artillery barrage. Infantry assault. Armor breakthrough. You are in the path of that breakthrough. The first shells start landing in your sector. You throw yourself into your pathetic excuse for a foxhole and pray to every god you can think of. The explosions are deafening. Trees shatter. The air fills with splinters. A pine tree 30 yards away takes a direct hit and disappears in a cloud of wood chips and fire. Shrapnel zings overhead. You press yourself as flat as possible. The ground heaves with each impact. Your ears are ringing. You cannot hear anything except the constant roar of explosions. This goes on for 30 minutes. 30 minutes of absolute hell. You lose track of time. You lose track of everything except the overwhelming desire to be somewhere else. Anywhere else. Then it stops. The sudden silence is almost as terrifying as the noise. Your ears are still ringing. Smoke drifts through the forest. Trees are on fire despite the snow. The smell of high explosives mixes with burning pine. You know what comes next. Infantry. The Germans are coming. You check your rifle. Your hands are shaking so badly you almost drop it. The M1 Garand is a good weapon. 8-round internal magazine. Semi-automatic. Accurate. Reliable in most conditions. But your fingers are so numb you can barely work the safety. You force yourself to function. Check the clip. 8 rounds. Check your bandolier. You have got 6 more clips. 48 rounds total. This is not enough. This is nowhere near enough. Danny is calling out. He is okay. Scared but okay. You call back. You are okay too. Scared but okay. The forest is quiet except for the crackling of burning trees. Then you hear it. Voices. German voices. Shouting commands. the jingle of equipment, the crunch of boots in snow. They are coming through the forest in force. Not a patrol, not a probing attack. This is the real thing. This is the offensive everyone said was impossible. Your platoon is spread too thin. You have got maybe 30 guys covering half a mile of forest. The Germans are attacking with battalion strength. Maybe more. The math is not in your favor. You see movement through the trees. Shapes. Men in field gray uniforms. Lots of them. They are advancing in a skirmish line. Professional. Disciplined. These are not the conscripts and old men you heard about. These are frontline troops who know what they are doing. The sergeant gives the order. Open fire. The forest erupts. Chapter 9. The first contact. You squeeze the trigger. The Garand kicks against your shoulder. The sound is enormous. Your first shot misses. You do not know if it misses by inches or miles. Everything is happening too fast. Your brain is screaming. Your training tries to take over, but your fingers are too cold and your aim is too shaky. Second shot. A German soldier drops. You do not know if you hit him or if someone else did. It does not matter. The battle has started and nothing matters except staying alive for the next 5 seconds. The Germans are returning fire. Bullets snap through the trees. The sound is distinctive. A sharp crack as each round breaks the sound barrier near your head. You duck. You aim. You fire. The Garand barks. Eject. Fire. Eject. Your clip is empty. The Garand makes its distinctive ping as it ejects the empty clip. You fumble for a new clip from your bandolier. Your fingers will not cooperate. The clip falls into the snow. You swear. You grab another clip. This time you manage to load it. 8 more rounds. The Germans are getting closer. They are using fire and movement tactics. One group shoots while another group advances. Then they switch. It is textbook infantry assault. They are good at this. They have been doing this for 5 years. Danny is screaming something. You cannot hear him over the gunfire. You look over. He is pointing to the left. More Germans. They are flanking your position. Of course they are flanking your position. Your line is too thin. There are gaps everywhere. You shift your fire to the left. Fire. Fire. A German soldier goes down. Another one takes his place. There are too many of them. The platoon sergeant is yelling to fall back. Fall back to the secondary position. Where is the secondary position? You have no idea. You were never told about a secondary position. Or maybe you were and you forgot because your brain is too cold to remember anything properly. You grab your gear. You start moving. Running through snow when you are wearing 60 pounds of equipment is not running. It is a slow-motion stumble. Your legs are not working right. The cold has sapped all your strength. Bullets hit the trees around you. Splinters fly. One catches you in the cheek. A line of fire. You are bleeding. You do not stop. Stopping means dying. You make it to a fallen log. Cover. You throw yourself behind it and try to catch your breath. Your lungs are burning from the cold air. Your heart is trying to break out of your chest. You look back. The Germans are overrunning your old position. They are in your foxholes. They are advancing fast. The American line is collapsing. This is not a local attack. This is a breakthrough. The entire front is giving way. You can hear fighting all up and down the line. The Germans are everywhere. You need to move again. Staying here means getting surrounded. You run. You keep running. Welcome to the first day of the Battle of the Bulge. The largest and bloodiest battle fought by the United States in World War II. And you are in the middle of it. Chapter 10. The retreat that is not a retreat. The officers do not call it a retreat. They call it a tactical withdrawal. They call it consolidating positions. They call it anything except what it actually is, which is running for your life while the German army steamrolls through your lines like you were never there. You have been moving for 3 hours. Running when you can. Walking fast when you cannot run anymore. Your lungs are raw from breathing frozen air. Your legs are jelly. Every muscle is screaming. But you keep moving because the alternative is capture or death, and neither of those sounds appealing. The forest is chaos. Units are mixed together. Nobody knows where they are supposed to be. Radio communication is spotty at best. Half the radios are frozen. The other half cannot get through because the Germans are jamming the frequencies. You stumble onto a road. There are American trucks burning. Bodies in the snow. Abandoned equipment everywhere. The Germans hit this convoy hard. You do not stop to investigate. You keep moving. Danny is still with you. So is the kid from Brooklyn and maybe 6 other guys from your platoon. The rest are dead or captured or scattered. You have no idea. The sergeant is gone. You saw him get hit by machine gun fire. He went down and did not get back up. A corporal from another company has taken charge. He says there is a rally point 3 miles west. A small town called Bastogne. The entire division is supposed to fall back to Bastogne and hold it. This is the new plan. You follow him because following someone is better than wandering alone. The cold is worse when you are moving. Your body generates heat from exertion, but you are also exposed to the wind. Sweat soaks through your undershirt. The sweat freezes. Now you are wearing a layer of ice next to your skin. This is spectacularly dangerous. Wet clothing in freezing temperatures is a death sentence. You try to stay dry. It is impossible. Snow gets everywhere. Down your collar, into your boots, under your helmet. You are wet and cold and exhausted, and you have been in combat for the first time in your life, and your brain is trying to process what just happened, but there is no time to process anything because you have to keep moving. The sound of German armor is somewhere behind you. Tanks. The distinctive clatter of tracks on hard ground. The Germans brought tanks through terrain that everyone said was impassable for armor. They did it anyway, and now those tanks are hunting you. You cross a frozen stream. The ice cracks under your weight but holds. Barely. You make it across. The kid from Brooklyn does not. He breaks through. The water is waist deep and moving fast. He is screaming. The cold water hits him and his body goes into shock. You grab him. So does Danny. You haul him out. He is soaked. His uniform is already stiffening from the cold. He needs to get dry immediately or he will be dead within an hour. There is nowhere to get dry. There is no time. You strip off his wet jacket and give him yours. It is not much warmer, but it is drier. You take his wet jacket because someone has to, and you are slightly less soaked than he is. Now you are both in danger. Great. You keep moving. The kid from Brooklyn is shaking violently. His lips are blue. His eyes are glazed. Hypothermia is setting in fast. You half carry him, half drag him. This slows everyone down. The corporal says to leave him. You ignore the corporal. You do not leave people behind. The town appears through the snow. Bastogne. It does not look like much. A small Belgian town. Narrow streets. Old buildings. But right now it looks like salvation. You make it to the American lines. Guards challenge you. You give the password. They let you through. You collapse. You cannot move anymore. Your legs give out and you fall into the snow, and for a moment you do not care if you ever get up. But you do get up. Because this is not over. This is just the beginning. Chapter 11. Bastogne and the siege begins. Bastogne is a mess. Thousands of American soldiers are flooding into the town from all directions. Units are scrambled. Nobody knows what is going on. Officers are trying to establish some kind of order, but it is like herding cats. Cold, exhausted, traumatized cats. You find a building. It is a barn. It is full of soldiers. There is no room. You squeeze in anyway. The body heat from dozens of men makes the barn almost tolerable. Almost. It is still freezing, but compared to outside it feels like paradise. Someone hands you a canteen. Water. You drink. It is the best thing you have tasted in days. Someone else has a can of soup. Cold soup. You do not care. You eat it with your fingers straight from the can. Calories. Blessed calories. The kid from Brooklyn is in bad shape. A medic looks at him. The medic shakes his head. Severe hypothermia. Possible frostbite on his hands and feet. He needs to be evacuated. There are no ambulances. There is no evacuation. The roads are cut. The Germans have surrounded Bastogne. You are trapped. The word spreads through the barn. The Germans have you surrounded. All roads in and out are blocked. No supplies are coming. No reinforcements are coming. You are on your own. Someone says the word siege. Bastogne is under siege, like a medieval castle. Except instead of arrows and catapults, it is artillery and tanks. The German artillery starts up right on cue. The first shells hit the town. Buildings explode. The barn shakes. Everyone dives for cover, even though cover inside a barn is a joke. If a shell hits this building, you are all dead. The shelling goes on for an hour. Then it stops. Then it starts again. This pattern continues all night. The Germans are trying to break morale. It is working. You try to sleep. Sleep is impossible. The cold is bad. The fear is worse. Every time you close your eyes, you see German soldiers advancing through the forest. You see the sergeant getting cut down. You see the kid from Brooklyn falling through the ice. Dawn comes. December 17th. You have been in combat for 24 hours. Feels like a lifetime. Orders come down. Every able-bodied soldier is to help establish a defensive perimeter around the town. You are going to dig foxholes. Again. In frozen ground. Again. This time the stakes are higher because if the Germans break through, there is nowhere to retreat to. You grab your entrenching tool and head outside. The town looks like it has been hit by a tornado. Buildings are damaged. Rubble in the streets. Fires burning. The smell of explosives hangs in the air. You pick a spot on the outskirts of town and start digging. The ground is frozen. Of course it is frozen. You chip away at it. Your hands are bleeding through your gloves. You do not care anymore. Pain is just another sensation in a long list of sensations that you have learned to ignore. The Germans are out there. You can feel them, waiting, building up for the next assault. It is coming. Everyone knows it is coming. You dig faster. Chapter 12. The supplies that do not exist. It is December 20th. You have been in Bastogne for 3 days. You have not eaten a proper meal in 7 days. The rations ran out yesterday. Now you are on half rations, which means you get 1 meal per day. And that meal is whatever the quartermaster can scrounge together. Today's meal is a slice of bread and a cup of weak coffee. The bread is stale. The coffee is made from grounds that have been used 3 times already. You eat it anyway. You are so hungry you would eat the sole of your boot if you thought it had any nutritional value. The ammunition situation is not much better. You started the battle with 48 rounds for your Garand. You are down to 16. Every shot has to count. The platoon is being told to conserve ammo. Only shoot if you have a clear target. The Germans have plenty of ammunition. They are shooting at everything. You have to make every bullet matter. Medical supplies are critically low. The aid station is overwhelmed. Wounded men are lying in hallways, on floors, anywhere there is space. The doctors are doing surgery without anesthesia because the morphine ran out. You can hear men screaming from 2 buildings away. The cold is killing as many men as German bullets. Frostbite cases are epidemic. Guys are losing toes, fingers, noses, ears. The medics are doing amputations in a freezing barn with rusty saws. It is medieval. Danny has frostbite on 3 toes. The medic says they might have to come off. Danny does not react. He is too exhausted to care. He just nods and walks away. You watch him go and wonder if you are next. Your own feet are numb all the time now. You cannot remember the last time you felt your toes. You wiggle them inside your boots. You think they are moving. You hope they are moving. If they are not moving, that means they are dead, and dead tissue means gangrene, and gangrene means amputation. You force yourself to take off your boots. This is the first time in 5 days. The smell is horrific. Your socks are stuck to your feet. You peel them off carefully. The skin comes off with the socks. Your feet are pale white, the color of fish bellies. This is a very bad sign. You do not have dry socks. You do not have replacement boots. You have what you are wearing and nothing else. You put the wet socks back on. You put the boots back on. You try not to think about what is happening inside your boots. The supply situation is desperate. General McAuliffe, who is in command of the defense, sends word to Patton's Third Army asking for relief. Patton is fighting his way north. He is making progress. But progress is measured in miles per day, and you need him here now. The weather is getting worse. The clouds are so thick that no planes can fly. This means no air support, no supply drops, no evacuation of wounded. You are completely cut off. The Germans know this. They send a delegation under a white flag. The message is simple: surrender or be annihilated. You are surrounded. You have no supplies, no hope of relief. Surrender and you will be treated well under the Geneva Convention. General McAuliffe's response is famous. He writes one word on a piece of paper and sends it back. The word is nuts. The soldiers love this. Nuts. Perfect. It is defiance wrapped in absurdity. You are cold, hungry, outnumbered, and outgunned. But you are not surrendering. Nuts to that. The siege continues. Chapter 13. The longest night. December 21st. The winter solstice. The longest night of the year. It is a poetic coincidence that would be beautiful if you were anywhere else. Here, it just means more hours of freezing darkness. You are in your foxhole again. This is your third foxhole in Bastogne. The first one got blown up by artillery. The second one filled with water from melted snow. This one is slightly better. Slightly. The Germans are shelling the town non-stop. They have been doing this for hours. The shells come in waves. High explosives. The ground shakes. Buildings collapse. The noise is constant and maddening. You have learned to distinguish different types of incoming fire by sound. The whistle of artillery shells. The shriek of Nebelwerfer rockets. The flat crack of tank guns. Each sound means different things. All of them mean danger. A shell lands close. Too close. The concussion wave hits you like a physical blow. Dirt and snow rain down. Your ears are ringing so loud you cannot hear anything else. You check yourself. Still alive. Still in one piece. This is all you can ask for. The kid from Brooklyn is in the next foxhole. You call out to him. No response. You call again. Still nothing. You crawl over. The snow is deep. The ground is frozen. Every movement is exhausting. You reach his foxhole. He is huddled at the bottom. Not moving. You shake him. He does not respond. You panic. You shake him harder. Finally he groans. He is alive. Just unconscious. Or asleep. Or hypothermic. You cannot tell in the dark. You slap his face. Not hard. Just enough to wake him. He opens his eyes. They are unfocused. He does not recognize you. This is bad. Really bad. You drag him out of his foxhole and into yours. Two men in a foxhole designed for one. It is cramped, but the combined body heat helps. You wrap your arms around him and try to transfer warmth. This is not about comfort. This is about survival. He starts shaking. Violent tremors. His teeth are chattering so hard you can hear them over the shelling. You hold him tighter. You talk to him. You do not know what you are saying. Just words. Any words. The sound of a human voice in the darkness. Slowly, very slowly, he starts to come back. His eyes focus. He recognizes you. He tries to speak, but his jaw is locked from the cold. You tell him not to talk. Just breathe. Stay warm. Stay alive. The shelling stops. The silence is eerie. You know what this means. Artillery barrage followed by infantry assault. It is the German playbook. You have seen it 3 times already. You check your rifle. You have 8 rounds left. 8. You have no more clips. When these 8 rounds are gone, you are done. You will fight with your entrenching tool if you have to. But you really hope it does not come to that. The Germans attack from the east. You can hear them before you see them. Voices in the dark. The jingle of equipment. They are trying a night assault. Bold. Desperate. They know time is running out. Patton is coming. If the Germans do not break through soon, they never will. Flares go up. The sky lights up white. Shadows everywhere. You see German infantry advancing in waves. Hundreds of them. Maybe more. The American line opens fire. Rifles. Machine guns. Everything. The noise is apocalyptic. Tracer rounds crisscross the darkness like angry fireflies. Men are screaming. Dying. The battle is pure chaos. You aim at a shadow. Fire. The Garand kicks. The shadow drops. You do not know if you hit him or if someone else did. You do not care. You work the action. Fire. 7 rounds left. The Germans keep coming. They are fearless or desperate or both. They make it to within 50 yards of your position before the American fire cuts them down. Bodies pile up in the snow. The attack falters. Falls back. Regroups. They attack again. Same result. More bodies. More screaming. The snow is turning red. This goes on all night. Tack. Repulse. Tack. Repulse. You fire your last round at some point. You do not remember when. You pick up a rifle from a dead soldier. You keep fighting. Dawn comes eventually. It always does. The Germans withdraw. The American line holds. Barely. You count the cost. Your platoon started the battle with 30 men. You are down to 12. The rest are dead or wounded or missing. The longest night is over. But there will be more nights. Many more. Chapter 14. The Christmas that was not. December 25th. Christmas Day. You wake up in your foxhole and remember what day it is, and the irony is so thick you could cut it with a bayonet. Back home, people are opening presents. Eating turkey. Singing carols. Children are playing with new toys. Families are together. It is supposed to be a day of peace and goodwill. Here, the Germans are shelling you. It is business as usual. They do not care about Christmas. Or maybe they do care and this is their way of celebrating. Either way, shells keep falling. Someone finds a small Christmas tree, a pine sapling that survived the shelling. They set it up in the command post. It is decorated with whatever they can find. Empty shell casings, strips of parachute silk, a candy wrapper. It looks pathetic. It is also the most beautiful thing you have seen in weeks. The chaplain holds a service. Maybe 40 guys show up. He reads from the Bible. Something about peace on earth. The words feel hollow. There is no peace here. There is only cold and hunger and fear. But you bow your head anyway. You say a prayer. Not because you believe it will help, but because it is something to do. Something human. Something that connects you to a world where people do not spend Christmas in frozen holes waiting to die. The supply situation is critical. The kitchen staff tries to make a Christmas meal. They scrounge together some canned beans, crackers, and mystery meat that might be ham or might be something else. You eat it. It is better than nothing. Barely. Someone starts singing Silent Night. Others join in. Soon the entire company is singing. The sound is ragged and off-key, but it is real. For a few minutes, you are not soldiers. You are just scared kids a long way from home, trying to remember what normal feels like. Then the singing stops because singing gives away your position and the Germans have mortars and mortars love stationary targets. You think about your family. Are they thinking about you? Do they know where you are? The mail is not getting through. No letters in or out. For all they know, you could be dead. You might as well be dead. You certainly feel dead inside. Danny unwraps a package that somehow survived the retreat. It is from his mother. There are cookies inside. Chocolate chip. They are crushed into crumbs, but they are edible. He shares them. 2 cookies per person. You eat yours slowly, trying to make it last. The sweetness is overwhelming. You have not tasted sugar in so long that the cookies almost hurt. Someone asks what everyone wants for Christmas. The answers are not presents. They are basic survival needs. Dry socks, hot food, sleep, a bath, to not be shot at for 5 minutes. The wants are humble. The chances of getting them are 0. The Germans attack at noon. Christmas dinner is interrupted by machine gun fire. You grab your weapon and run to your position. The attack is half-hearted. A probing action. They are testing your defenses. You repel them. You always repel them. But it costs bullets you do not have and energy you cannot spare. The day ends. Christmas is over. Tomorrow will be December 26th and nothing will have changed. You will still be cold. Still hungry. Still surrounded. But tonight, for just a moment, you were something other than a soldier. You were a person who celebrated Christmas. Even if that celebration was a handful of crushed cookies and an off-key carol sung in a frozen hole. It is something. It has to be something. Chapter 15. The Sky Opens. December 23rd. 2 days before Christmas. The weather has been overcast for days. Thick clouds. No visibility. No air support. The Germans love this weather. Protects them from Allied aircraft. But today something changes. You wake up and the sky is different. Still cold. Still brutal. But the clouds are breaking up. You can see blue. Actual blue sky. It is the most beautiful thing you have ever seen. By mid-morning, the clouds are gone. The sky is clear. And then you hear it. The sound of engines. Hundreds of engines. You look up and the sky is filled with aircraft. Transport planes. C-47s. Wave after wave of them. They are coming to drop supplies. The siege is about to be broken. Not militarily. Not yet. But logistically. You are going to get food, ammunition, medical supplies, everything you have been missing. The planes come in low. Too low. They are flying right over the German positions. Anti-aircraft fire opens up. Black puffs of flak fill the sky. You watch a plane get hit. It does not fall immediately. It staggers. Smoke pours from one engine, but it keeps flying. It makes it over the drop zone. Parachutes deploy. Supplies fall from the sky like manna from heaven. Another plane is hit. This one is not so lucky. It explodes in midair. A fireball. Debris raining down. 9 men were on that plane. 9 men who died bringing you supplies. The thought is sobering. But the drops keep coming. The planes keep flying. The pilots are heroes. They know they are being shot at. They know some of them will not make it back. They come anyway. The first supplies hit the ground. Soldiers run to collect them. There is no organization. It is a mad scramble. You run too. Your legs do not want to move, but you force them. You make it to a parachute. Under it is a wooden crate. You pry it open. Inside are K-rations. Beautiful, blessed K-rations. You grab as many as you can carry. Someone else finds ammunition. Boxes and boxes of it. Clips for the Garens. Belts for the machine guns. Grenades. Mortar shells. Everything you need to keep fighting. The medical supplies are the most important. Plasma. Bandages. Morphine. Antibiotics. The doctors can finally treat the wounded properly. Men who were going to die might live now. The drops continue all day. By evening, Bastogne has enough supplies to hold out for another week. Maybe 2. It is not a permanent solution, but it is hope. And hope is a currency more valuable than gold when you are surrounded and freezing and fighting for your life. The Germans do not like this development. They increase the shelling. They are trying to destroy the supplies before they can be distributed. Some of the parachutes land in German-held territory. The Germans get those supplies, but most of them land on the American side. You eat your first full meal in over a week. Ham and eggs from a K-ration that was dropped this morning. It is still cold. You do not care. It is food. Real food. You eat until your stomach hurts. That night, you sleep better than you have in days. Your belly is full. You have ammunition. The sky is clear, which means air support tomorrow. Things are looking up. But the siege is not over. The Germans are still out there. Still attacking. Still trying to break through. Patton is still fighting his way north. You are still trapped. But for tonight, you have food and bullets and hope. It is enough. Chapter 16. Patton arrives. December 26th. The day after Christmas. The day everything changes. You hear the artillery first. American artillery. Not the German guns you have been listening to for 10 days. These are friendly guns. They are firing from the south, which means Patton's Third Army has arrived. The word spreads through Bastogne like wildfire. Patton is here. The siege is broken. Relief has arrived. You want to believe it. You are afraid to believe it. You have been let down too many times. But the sound of those guns is real. And the sound is getting closer. By afternoon, you can hear tank engines. American tanks. Sherman tanks. The distinctive rumble is unmistakable. They are pushing up the road from the south. The Germans are fighting hard to stop them. But Patton is not stopping. Patton never stops. At 4:45 p.m., the first tanks roll into Bastogne. Sherman tanks from the 37th Tank Battalion, 4th Armored Division. You stand on the side of the road and watch them come in. Grown men are crying. You might be crying too. You cannot tell because your face is too cold to feel tears. The siege is over. 10 days. 10 days of being surrounded. 10 days of cold and hunger and constant fear. It is over. The relief convoy brings supplies. Real supplies. Hot food. Fresh ammunition. Winter clothing. Finally, you get proper winter gear. Pile jackets. Insulated boots. Wool socks. Gloves that actually keep your hands warm. You change your socks for the first time in 2 weeks. The old socks have to be peeled off. They are frozen to your feet. When they come off, the skin comes with them. Your feet are white and swollen. 3 toes on your left foot have no feeling. The medic looks at them and shakes his head. Frostbite. Severe. You might lose those toes. But you are alive. That is what matters. You are alive and the siege is broken and Patton is here and the Germans are retreating. The Battle of the Bulge is not over. The fighting will continue for another month. The Germans will keep attacking. Men will keep dying. But Bastogne has held. The deepest penetration of the German advance has been stopped. The tide is turning. You eat hot soup. Real soup. Made in a real kitchen by real cooks. It is the best thing you have ever tasted. You eat 3 bowls. Your stomach rebels. You do not care. You keep eating. That night, you sleep indoors for the first time since December 16th. A barn. It is still cold. But it is shelter. Real shelter. You spread out your new sleeping bag. You climb in. The bag is rated for -40 degrees. You are warm. Actually warm. The sensation is so foreign you almost do not recognize it. You close your eyes. You sleep. No dreams. No nightmares. Just deep, exhausted sleep. When you wake up, it is December 27th. The battle continues. But Bastogne is no longer surrounded. The worst is over. Or so you think. Chapter 17. The cleanup that is worse than the battle. The fighting around Bastogne continues for weeks after Patton breaks the siege. The Germans do not give up. They keep attacking. But the momentum has shifted. The Americans are pushing them back. Slowly, painfully, but back. You are assigned to help clear the battlefield. This means walking through the forests and fields around Bastogne and dealing with what the battle left behind. It is worse than combat. Much worse. The bodies are everywhere. Frozen solid. American bodies. German bodies. They all look the same after a few days in the snow. Just shapes. Some are half buried in snow. Some are hanging in trees from where they were thrown by explosions. Some are in pieces. Your job is to identify American dead, collect their dog tags, and prepare them for burial. The frozen ground makes digging impossible. The bodies are stacked like cordwood and covered with tarps until the ground thaws enough for proper graves. The smell is not as bad as it could be because everything is frozen. But when you move a body, you sometimes break frozen limbs. The sound is horrible, like snapping frozen tree branches. Except it is not tree branches. You find a body in a foxhole. He is curled up like he is sleeping. His face is peaceful. There is no wound that you can see. He just froze to death. You check his dog tags. Private James Anderson, from Iowa, 20 years old. You never knew him, but now you will never forget him. Danny is helping with the cleanup. He is not doing well. He keeps having to stop and throw up. Not from sickness, from horror. This is what war really is. Not the heroic battles. Not the dramatic charges. This, dead bodies frozen in snow. Young men who will never go home. You find a German soldier. He is young, maybe 18. He has a photo in his pocket. A girl, probably his girlfriend, or his sister. You do not take the photo. You leave it with him. Let him have that much. The disabled equipment is everywhere. Burned out tanks. Destroyed trucks. Abandoned artillery pieces. Everything is damaged or destroyed or frozen in place. Salvage crews are trying to recover what they can. Most of it is scrap. The forest itself is devastated. Trees shattered by artillery. The ground is pocked with craters. Shell casings carpet the ground like brass snow. Unexploded ordnance is hidden everywhere. You have to watch every step. One wrong move and you could step on a mine or a dud shell. You work all day. By evening, you have processed maybe 40 bodies. There are hundreds more, maybe thousands. This will take weeks. That night, you try to sleep. You cannot. Every time you close your eyes, you see faces. Anderson from Iowa. The German kid with the photo. All of them. They do not leave you alone. This is the cost of the Battle of the Bulge. The Americans suffered 90,000 casualties. The Germans lost even more. For what? A salient in the line that was pushed back anyway. A few weeks of territory that changed nothing. But it changed you. You will never be the same person you were before Bastogne. None of you will. The cold and the hunger and the fear have left marks that will never heal. You think about going home. What will you tell people? How do you explain this? How do you make someone understand what it was like? You cannot. You know you cannot. So you will smile and nod and say it was not so bad. And at night, when you are alone, the faces will come back. They always come back. Chapter 18. The Frostbite Ward. You finally get sent to a field hospital. Not because you were wounded in combat. Because of your feet. The frostbite has gotten worse. The medic said you need proper medical attention or you are going to lose more than 3 toes. The hospital is in a commandeered building in a town 20 miles from Bastogne. It is warm. Actually warm. There is a working furnace. You have not been in a heated building in over a month. The warmth is almost painful. The frostbite ward is full. Dozens of soldiers with the same problem. Blackened toes. Swollen feet. Tissue death. The doctors are overwhelmed. There are not enough of them. Not enough supplies. Not enough beds. Men are lying on the floor. A doctor examines your feet. He does not say much. Just makes notes on a chart. You ask him the question you have been afraid to ask. How bad is it? He is honest. 3 toes on your left foot are dead. They have to come off. 2 toes on your right foot might be saved if you are lucky. Might be. No guarantees. The surgery is scheduled for tomorrow. No anesthesia. They are out of it. The morphine is being saved for guys with worse injuries. You are going to be awake when they amputate your toes. You do not sleep that night. You lie in bed and think about what tomorrow means. You will go home with 7 toes instead of 10. You will walk differently. Run differently. Everything will be different. The next morning, they take you to the operating room. It is not really an operating room. It is a classroom with a table. The doctor has a saw. An actual carpenter's saw that has been sterilized. You stare at it. The doctor says it will be quick. They strap down your leg. You grip the sides of the table. The doctor starts cutting. The pain is beyond anything you have experienced. You scream. You cannot help it. You scream and someone shoves a leather strap in your mouth to bite down on. Takes less than 5 minutes. Feels like hours. When it is over, you have 3 fewer toes and a bandaged foot that is bleeding through already. They give you crutches. You hobble back to your bed. The pain is incredible. Waves of it. Sharp and throbbing and relentless. Danny comes to visit. He brought you some chocolate from his ration. You eat it. The sweetness does not help the pain, but it is something. He tells you the division is moving out. They are pushing into Germany. The war is not over. You will not be going with them. You are being sent to a hospital in England to recover. Then home. Home. The word sounds foreign, like something from another language. You think about Bastogne. The siege. The cold. The hunger. The fear. All of it. You survived. Barely. You have scars that will never heal and missing toes to prove it. But you survived. The kid from Brooklyn did not. He died of hypothermia 2 days before Patton arrived. Danny tells you this carefully, watching your face. You do not react. You cannot. You have seen too much death. One more name on the list does not register the way it should. You ask about the others. The guys from your original platoon. Most are dead. A few are in hospitals like you. 1 or 2 are still with the division. Out of 30 men, maybe 5 are still combat effective. This is the math of war. This is what frozen marches and winter sieges do to an army. You close your eyes. You try to sleep. The pain keeps you awake. So do the memories. They always do. Chapter 19. The Aftermath. You are in a hospital in England. It is February 1945. The Battle of the Bulge officially ended on January 25th. You have been out of combat for a month. Your feet are healing. Slowly. The doctors say you are lucky. Lucky. You are missing 3 toes and 2 more are damaged beyond full function. You have permanent nerve damage from the cold. Your feet hurt all the time. Every step. Every day. For the rest of your life. This is lucky. But you are alive. That is what lucky means in this context. You survived Bastogne when so many did not. You made it out when the odds were against you. This is the new math. Survival equals luck. The hospital is full of men with similar stories. Frostbite victims. Guys who lost toes, fingers, noses, ears. The cold was not discriminating. Took parts from everyone. Some guys have it worse. There is a corporal who lost both feet. He will never walk again without prosthetics. A sergeant lost all his fingers. He will never hold anything again. Their war is over in the worst way possible. You write a letter home. It is your first letter in 2 months. You tell them you are fine. You do not mention the toes. You do not mention Bastogne. You do not mention anything that would worry them. You say the weather was cold. You say the food was bad. You say you are glad to be in England. You mail the letter. It is full of lies. But they are kind lies. The truth would destroy them. Danny is in the next ward. He lost 4 toes. His frostbite was worse than yours. He is going home too. You visit him. You talk about nothing. The weather. The food. Anything except the battle. Neither of you wants to remember. But neither of you can forget. The war continues without you. The newspapers report on Allied advances into Germany. The Rhine crossings. The push toward Berlin. Your division is there. The guys who survived Bastogne are still fighting. You feel guilty. You should be there. You should be with them. But your war is over. Your feet will not carry you in combat anymore. You are going home. The doctors say you will ship out next month. March. You will be in America by April. Home. You try to imagine it. Your old life. Your family. Your town. None of it feels real. You have been gone less than a year, but it feels like a lifetime. You are not the same person who left. That person died somewhere in the Ardennes forest. This person, the one in the hospital bed with 7 toes, is someone new. Someone harder. Someone who knows things that no one should know. You wonder if you will ever feel normal again. If the cold will ever leave your bones. If you will ever sleep through the night without waking up convinced you are back in that foxhole. Surrounded by Germans. Freezing to death. The doctors say the nightmares will fade. You do not believe them. Some things do not fade. They just become part of who you are. You receive a medal. Purple Heart for injuries sustained in combat. A nurse pins it to your hospital gown. You stare at it. A purple ribbon and a gold heart. This is what your 3 toes were worth. This is the exchange rate. Flesh for metal. You put the metal in a drawer. You do not want to look at it. Chapter 20. The Ship Home. It is March 1945. You are on a transport ship heading back to America. The war in Europe is almost over. Everyone can feel it. Germany is collapsing. The end is near. But for you, the war ended in Bastogne. The rest is just echoes. The ship is crowded. Hundreds of wounded soldiers going home. Missing limbs. Missing parts. Missing pieces of themselves that will never be found. You are one of them. You fit right in. The Atlantic is rough. The ship pitches and rolls. Most guys get seasick. You do not. After Bastogne, a little motion sickness is nothing. You have experienced worse. You spend most of the voyage on deck, staring at the ocean. The water is gray and cold. It reminds you of the sky over Bastogne. Everything reminds you of Bastogne. Danny is on the same ship. You stand together at the rail. You do not talk much. There is not much to say. The battle is over. You survived. That is all there is. Someone asks what it was like. The battle. You do not answer. How do you explain frozen foxholes to someone who has never been that cold? How do you describe the sound of artillery to someone who has never been shelled? How do you make them understand the fear? You cannot. So you say it was cold. You say you did your job. You change the subject. The days blur together. Sleep, eat, stand on deck. Repeat. The ship is a floating limbo between the war and home. You are not sure which one you belong to anymore. After 8 days at sea, you see land. America, New York Harbor, the Statue of Liberty. It is supposed to be emotional, triumphant. The heroes return. You feel nothing. You are numb. The cold from Bastogne has seeped so deep that nothing can warm you up. Not the Atlantic sun. Not the sight of home. Nothing. The ship docks. You disembark. You are processed through a reception center. Medical exams. Paperwork. You are officially discharged. You are a civilian now. The war is over for you. You board a train. Your hometown is 2 days away by rail. You watch America pass by the window. Cities, farms, small towns. It all looks the same as when you left. But you are not the same. You will never be the same. The train pulls into your station. Your family is waiting. Your mother, your father, your little sister. They are smiling, crying, happy. You smile back. You hug them. You say all the right things. But inside, you are still in that foxhole. Still cold. Still scared. Still waiting for the Germans to attack. You will carry Bastogne with you for the rest of your life. The cold. The hunger. The fear. The faces of men who did not make it home. They are all there, just under the surface, waiting. This is what frozen marches do. This is what winter battles take. Not just toes. Not just fingers. They take pieces of your soul that never grow back. You are home, but you will never really leave the Ardennes. Chapter 21. What you lost in the snow. So let us talk about what you left behind in those frozen Belgian woods. And I am not just talking about your toes. You went into the Ardennes as one person and came out as someone completely different. The transformation happened slowly, then all at once. Each frozen morning, each hungry night, each moment of terror when the shells fell and you thought, this is it. This is how I die. Your youth stayed in that forest. That sounds dramatic, but it is true. Young men went to Bastogne. Old men came out. Not old in years. Old in the ways that matter. Old in their eyes. Old in their souls. Your faith in basic human comfort is gone. You will never take warmth for granted again. For the rest of your life, you will feel cold in ways that make no sense. It is 75 degrees and sunny. You are wearing a jacket. People ask if you are okay. You say you are fine. You are lying. You are always cold now. The Ardennes cold got into your bones and it never left. Your ability to trust safety is compromised. Loud noises make you jump. Car backfires. Fireworks. Thunder. Anything that sounds like artillery. Your body remembers. Your brain knows it is not real, but your body does not care. Your body is back in that foxhole, bracing for impact. Your relationship with food is forever changed. You will never waste food again. Not a scrap. Not a crumb. People at dinner parties will notice. You clean your plate completely. You eat things other people throw away. They do not understand. They were never hungry. Really hungry. The kind of hungry where your body starts eating itself. Your feet are damaged permanently. The missing toes throw off your balance. You walk differently. Run differently. You cannot stand for long periods without pain. Winter is agony. The cold makes the nerve damage flare up. You limp more when it snows. Every step is a reminder. You do not talk about Bastogne. People ask, especially in the early years. They want war stories, heroic tales. You have none to give them. You say it was cold. You say it was tough. You change the subject. After a while, people stop asking. But you think about it. Every day. Some days more than others. December is the worst. December 16th. The anniversary. Every year it comes around and you are back there. In the forest. In the cold. waiting for the Germans to attack. You have nightmares. They started in the hospital and never stopped. The details change, but the core is always the same. You are cold. You are trapped. You are running, but your legs will not work. You wake up sweating despite feeling frozen. Your wife learns not to touch you when you are having a nightmare. You might strike out, not on purpose, but your body is defending itself from threats that do not exist anymore. You cannot watch war movies. They get it wrong. The heroism, the glory, the neat narrative arcs. War is not like that. War is cold and messy and terrifying and mostly boring until it is not boring, and then it is absolutely horrific. Movies do not capture that. So you do not watch them. You drink more than you should. Not constantly, but more than before. Enough to quiet the memories. Enough to sleep without dreams. Your doctor says you should cut back. You try. Sometimes you succeed. You isolate yourself. Not always. You have friends, family, a life, but there are parts of you that are alone forever. Parts that nobody can reach because nobody was there. Nobody shared that experience. You are fundamentally isolated by what you went through. You lost friends in Bastogne. Not just the kid from Brooklyn. Others. Guys you trained with. Guys you laughed with. Guys who should have come home but did not. You carry them with you. Their faces. Their voices. They never age. You get old. They stay young forever. The guilt is constant. Survivor's guilt. Why did you make it when they did not? What made you special? Nothing. Nothing made you special. You were just lucky. And luck is random. And the randomness of it eats at you. You lost your sense of invincibility. Young men think they cannot die. You know better now. You know exactly how fragile life is. How quickly it can end. How arbitrary the dividing line between living and dying. This knowledge is heavy. You carry it everywhere. But here is what you did not lose. You did not lose your ability to appreciate what you have. Every warm bed is a luxury. Every hot meal is a blessing. Every day without someone shooting at you is a gift. This perspective changes everything. You did not lose your compassion. You saw men at their worst and their best. You saw selfishness and you saw sacrifice. You learned that people are complicated. Even the enemy, even the Germans who were trying to kill you, they were cold too. Hungry too, scared too. You did not lose your strength. You survived something that should have killed you. You endured conditions that would break most people. You found reserves of toughness you did not know you had. That strength never goes away. It is there when you need it. And you did not lose your story. It is yours. Forever. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can truly understand it. But it is yours. And someday maybe you will find a way to tell it that does not hurt so much. This is what the frozen march took from you. And this is what it left behind. Chapter 22. The latrine situation. Let us talk about something nobody wants to discuss but everyone has to deal with. Where do you go to the bathroom when you are in a frozen foxhole being shelled by Germans? The answer is anywhere you can. And it is worse than you think. The official latrine is a slit trench dug 50 yards behind the front line. It is a hole in the ground. 6 feet long, 2 feet wide, 3 feet deep. There is no privacy, no roof, no walls, just a hole that 50 men share. In negative 20-degree weather. Using the latrine means leaving your foxhole, walking through snow, exposing yourself to enemy fire, all while your bowels are cramping because you ate questionable food and drank contaminated water. The walk to the latrine is terrifying. Snipers love targeting men using latrines. You are vulnerable, exposed, an easy target. When you get there, you have to remove multiple layers of clothing. Your overcoat if you have one, your jacket, your belt, your trousers, all while standing in snow. The cold air hits your exposed skin and it is shocking. Your body does not want to cooperate. Everything clenches up. You are trying to relieve yourself while your muscles are doing everything possible to keep warm. There is no toilet paper. The army issued some but it ran out days ago. You use whatever you can find. Leaves, snow, strips of cloth torn from clothing. Nothing works well. Everything is frozen. You do the best you can and try not to think about infections. The smell is beyond description. 50 men using the same hole for days creates a concentrated zone of horror. The cold helps a little. Freezing temperatures reduce the smell. But not enough. Not nearly enough. You can smell the latrine from 30 yards away. Some guys refuse to use the latrine. Too dangerous. Too exposed. They go in their foxholes. They dig a small hole in the corner. Use it. Cover it with dirt. This works until it does not. Until the foxhole starts to smell. Until you are living in your own waste. The kid from Brooklyn got dysentery. He spent 2 days making constant trips to the latrine. Each trip was agony. The cramping. The cold. The danger. By the second day he was too weak to make the walk. He went in his foxhole. Then in his pants. He was humiliated. Destroyed. This is what war does. Takes your dignity piece by piece. Urinating is slightly easier. You can do it from your foxhole. You unbutton your fly. You pull yourself out. The cold air hits sensitive areas. Everything shrinks. Everything hurts. You aim away from your position and hope the wind does not blow it back. Sometimes you are too cold to unbutton your fly. You just go in your pants. The warmth feels good for approximately 5 seconds. Then it freezes. Now you are wearing frozen urine. Your pants are stiff. The smell is permanent. The medic warns about frostbite in unexpected areas. Yes, that area. If you expose yourself to -20-degree air for too long, tissue damage can occur. Several guys have been evacuated for cold injuries to their genitals. This is not something anyone talks about, but it happens. Toilet paper is a luxury item. When supply drops happen, guys trade valuable items for a roll of toilet paper. Cigarettes, chocolate, anything. The value of toilet paper has increased by approximately 1,000% since December 16th. The Germans have the same problems. You know this because you have overrun their positions. Their latrines are just as horrible. Their soldiers have the same dysentery, the same frozen waste. War is the great equalizer. Everyone suffers equally when it comes to basic biology. There is no way to stay clean. You have not bathed in weeks. You have not changed your underwear in weeks. The combination of sweat and waste and fear creates a smell that is unique to combat. Every soldier smells the same, like death and desperation. Danny jokes that the smell is tactical camouflage. The Germans can smell you from a mile away. They know Americans are nearby. You laugh, but it is probably true. Hygiene is impossible. Your hands are always dirty. You eat with dirty hands. You touch your face with dirty hands. Infections are common. Guys get sick from their own filth. The medic does what he can. It is not enough. This is not the heroic war from the movies. This is the reality. Cold and dirty and degrading. This is what breaks men as surely as bullets. The loss of basic human dignity. The reduction to an animal state. Eat, eliminate, survive, repeat. You dream about bathrooms. Real bathrooms. With doors. And heat. And running water. And toilet paper that is soft instead of frozen leaves. These dreams are more vivid than dreams about home. More intense than dreams about peace. A warm toilet becomes the ultimate luxury. The thing you want most in the world. More than food. More than safety. Just 5 minutes in a heated bathroom with a real toilet and unlimited toilet paper. This is the fantasy that keeps you going. But there is no bathroom. There is only the slit trench. And the cold. And the smell. And the degradation that comes with being human in inhuman conditions. Chapter 23. The things you carry that weigh nothing. Your combat load is approximately 60 pounds. Rifle. Ammunition. Grenades. Rations. Water. Entrenching tool. Gas mask. All of it has weight. All of it is measured. But the heaviest things you carry have no weight at all. You carry fear. It is there every second. A constant low hum of anxiety that occasionally spikes into pure terror. The fear of dying. Of being wounded. Of being captured. Of freezing to death. Of starving. Of going insane. The fear has texture. Taste. It is metallic in your mouth. Tight in your chest. electric in your hands. You carry letters from home. 3 letters in your breast pocket. They are dated November. Your mother writes about the weather. Your girlfriend writes about missing you. Your little brother writes about school. The letters are 2 months old, but you read them every day. The paper is wearing thin from being folded and unfolded. The ink is smudging, but they connect you to a world where people are not trying to kill you. You carry guilt. You made it out of that first firefight. Others did not. Why you? What makes you special? Nothing. You are not special. You are just lucky. But luck feels like theft when you are walking past the bodies of friends who were unlucky. You carry a photograph. Your family. The photo is crumpled, stained. You keep it in a waterproof pouch, but moisture gets in anyway. The faces are fading. Your mother's smile is dissolving. Your father's eyes are becoming blur. Soon the photo will be unusable, but you cannot throw it away. It is proof that you came from somewhere, that you were someone before this. You carry the faces of the men you killed. You know you killed at least 3, maybe more. You saw them fall. You tell yourself they were trying to kill you, that it was them or you, that you had no choice. This is all true. It does not help. Their faces are there when you close your eyes. Young faces, about your age. They had mothers too, girlfriends, little brothers. You took all of that away. You carry Danny's burden. He is falling apart. You can see it. The shaking that never stops. The 1,000-yard stare. The way he jumps at every sound. Someone needs to watch him. Make sure he does not do something stupid. That someone is you. It is extra weight. Invisible weight. But you feel it every day. You carry hope. It is small. Fragile. But it is there. Hope that Patton arrives. Hope that you survive today. Hope that tomorrow is better. Hope that you will go home and this will all be a bad dream. Hope is lightweight but essential. Without it, you would just lie down in the snow and wait to die. You carry anger. At the Germans for attacking. At your officers for putting you here. At the generals for their mistakes. At the politicians for starting this war. At yourself for not being stronger, braver, better. The anger has nowhere to go. You cannot shoot it. Cannot dig it out. It just sits inside you, poisonous and growing. You carry memories of warmth. A specific memory. Last July, you were swimming in a lake. The sun was hot. The water was cool. You floated on your back and looked at blue sky and felt completely at peace. That memory is precious. You return to it when things are worst. You close your eyes and you are there. Floating. Warm. Safe. The memory is therapeutic. It is also torture because it makes the present unbearable by comparison. You carry superstitions. Your lucky penny. You found it in training. Heads up. You keep it in your left pocket. You touch it before every patrol. Before every firefight. It is stupid. You know it is stupid. Luck is not real. Random chance determines who lives and dies. But you touch the penny anyway because what if it helps? What if taking it out of your pocket is the thing that gets you killed? You carry promises. You promised your mother you would come home. You promised your girlfriend you would marry her. You promised yourself you would survive this. Promises are chains. They bind you to the future. They force you to keep going when quitting seems easier. You carry the weight of witnessing. You have seen things. Terrible things. Things that cannot be unseen. Bodies torn apart. Men crying for their mothers as they die. The moment when life leaves someone's eyes and they become meat. You cannot unknow these things. They are yours forever. You will carry them long after the war ends. You carry the sergeant's last words. He grabbed your arm before he died. Said, "Take care of the boys." You nodded. He died. Now you are responsible. For Danny. For the others. It is a responsibility you never asked for. But you have it. And you cannot put it down. You carry music. A song your father used to sing. You hum it sometimes. Very quietly. It reminds you of better times. Of being a kid. Of thinking the world was safe. The song is armor against the present. A small piece of normalcy in abnormal circumstances. You carry the names of the dead. You memorize them. All of them. From your platoon. your company. Every man who does not make it. You will remember them. Someone has to. This is the debt you owe. To witness, to remember, to carry their names when they cannot carry themselves. These weights have no mass, but they are real. More real than your rifle. More permanent than your wounds. You will carry them home. They will never leave you. Long after your combat load is packed away, these invisible weights will remain. This is the true burden of war. Not the equipment, not the miles. The things you carry inside. The things that have no weight but crush you anyway. Chapter 24. The civilians who stayed. The forests around Bastogne are not empty. There are people here. Belgian civilians who did not evacuate, could not evacuate, or chose not to evacuate. And now they are trapped in a war zone. You encounter your first civilian family 3 days into the siege. A farmhouse half destroyed by shelling. Inside you find an old man, his wife, and 2 children. A boy maybe 10 years old. A girl maybe 7. They are hiding in the cellar. They have been there for 4 days. The old man speaks some English. He asks if you are American. You say yes. He cries. He thought you were German. He thought they were going to die. The family has no food, no heat, no water that is not contaminated. You give them a ration. It is all you have. The old man tries to refuse. You insist. The children eat the crackers like they are the finest meal ever prepared. They probably are. They are starving. The old woman shows you her husband's wounds. Shrapnel from a shell that hit nearby. His shoulder is a mess. Infected. Badly. He needs a doctor. You do not have a doctor. You have a medic who is overwhelmed with combat casualties. But you go get him anyway. The medic does what he can. Cleans the wound. Applies sulfa powder. Bandages it. He says the man needs surgery. Real surgery in a real hospital. That is not going to happen. The roads are cut. The hospitals are full. This man will live or die based on whether the infection kills him before Patton arrives. The children watch everything with huge eyes. They do not speak. They have not spoken in days, according to the grandmother. Traumatized into silence. The boy clings to his mother. The girl holds a doll that is missing an arm. The doll looks how you feel. You want to help. You cannot help. You have your own problems. Your own survival to worry about. But the girl looks at you and you see your little sister. You give her your chocolate bar from your ration. She takes it carefully, like it might break, like it might disappear. She eats half and saves half. For later, when things are worse. Things are already as worse as they can be. But she does not know that. The old man tells you about the German soldiers. They came through 2 days ago, demanded food, took what little the family had, took the chickens, took the pig, took everything, but they did not hurt anyone. Small mercies. He says the Germans were young, scared, just like you. You do not want to think about the Germans being scared. It is easier if they are monsters. Easier to shoot monsters. Harder to shoot scared kids. The family asks if they should leave. You do not know what to tell them. Leaving means walking through a battlefield. Staying means living in a cellar with no food during artillery bombardment. Both options are terrible. You tell them to stay. Stay hidden. Stay alive. Patton is coming. You hope Patton is coming. You are not sure anymore. You leave the farmhouse. You promise to come back. To check on them. You mean it. But combat has a way of making promises impossible to keep. 2 days later you are back in that area. The farmhouse took a direct hit. There is nothing left. Just rubble and smoke. You dig through the debris. You find the doll. The one-armed doll. It is burned but recognizable. You do not find the family. You hope they got out. You know they did not. This is collateral damage. Civilian casualties. Acceptable losses. The words are clinical. Distant. They do not capture the reality. Family erased. Children who will never grow up. An old couple who survived one war only to die in another. You keep the doll. You do not know why. It seems important. A reminder that the forest was not always a battlefield. That people lived here. Had lives. Had futures. Before the tanks came and the shells fell and everything turned to fire and ice. There are other civilians. You see them occasionally, hiding in barns, in cellars, in ruins, always terrified, always hungry, always caught between armies that do not care about them. A woman with a baby. The baby is sick, coughing. The woman begs you for medicine. You have no medicine. The medic has no medicine for babies. Only combat casualties. The woman cries. You give her your wool scarf. For the baby. To keep warm. It is inadequate. It is something. You never see that woman again. You wonder about the baby. Whether it survived. Whether your scarf made any difference. Probably not. But you gave it anyway because doing nothing felt worse than doing something inadequate. The Belgians did not ask for this war. They were neutral. Invaded in 1940. Occupied for 4 years. Liberated in September 1944. And now they are a battlefield again. The Germans came back. And the Americans are fighting them. And Belgian civilians are dying because 2 armies decided their country was strategically important. The old man in the farmhouse said something before you left. He said war is always the same. The armies change. The weapons change. But war is always the same. It destroys everything. Takes everything. Gives nothing back. You think about that a lot. About the universality of suffering. About how every war is different and every war is identical. About how the people who suffer most are the ones who never wanted to fight. The girl with the doll haunts you. Her face. Her silence. Her careful way of saving half the chocolate. Planning for a future that never came. You carry her doll in your pack. Extra weight. Useless weight. But you cannot throw it away. It feels like throwing away proof that she existed. That they all existed. That this place was more than just a battlefield. Someday, if you survive, you will find a way to return. To bury the doll. To mark the spot. To remember. But today you have to keep moving. Keep fighting. Keep surviving. The civilians are gone. The war continues. And the forest gets colder. Chapter 25. The sounds that never stop. The Ardennes forest is never quiet. Even when the fighting stops, the noise continues. And every sound is a threat. Every sound could mean death. There is the wind. It howls through the pine trees with a moan that sounds almost human. Sometimes you think you hear voices in the wind. Men calling for help. You investigate. There is nothing there. Just wind. But the voices keep coming. There is the crack of trees breaking under ice weight. It sounds like rifle shots. Every time a tree cracks, your heart stops. You grab your weapon. Scan for targets. Nothing. Just another tree giving up under the weight of winter. You have been fooled by this sound maybe 50 times. It never stops fooling you. There is the artillery. Constant. The German guns never fully stop. Sometimes the shelling is intense. Sometimes it is just harassing fire. A shell every few minutes. Enough to keep you on edge. Enough to prevent sleep. The whistle of incoming rounds is distinctive. You learn to judge distance by sound. Closed shells have a sharp whistle that rises in pitch. Distant shells have a deeper tone. Very close shells do not whistle at all. They just arrive. There is the sound of shells impacting. The initial explosion. Then the secondary sounds. Shrapnel hitting trees. Snow falling from branches. Debris raining down. Fire crackling if something ignites. The sounds layer on top of each other, creating a symphony of destruction. There is the machine gun fire. German MG-42s have a very high rate of fire. They sound like fabric tearing. Rip. American machine guns sound different. Slower. Chug, chug, chug. You can identify the weapon by ear before you see it. This is a survival skill. Knowing which direction the fire is coming from. Knowing whether it is friendly or hostile. There is the tank sound. The clatter of tracks. The rumble of engines. Tanks sound huge even when they are far away. The ground vibrates. Snow shakes loose from trees. You feel tanks in your chest. In your bones. When you hear tank sounds, you dig deeper. Tanks mean breakthrough. Tanks mean your position is about to be overrun. There is the human noise. Men screaming. Some are wounded and calling for medics. Some are giving orders. Some are just screaming because terror has to go somewhere. The German soldiers scream too. In German, you do not understand the words, but the tone is universal. Fear, pain, rage. There is the medic call. Medic, medic, medic. It is the most common sound on a battlefield besides gunfire. Someone is always hit. Someone always needs help. The medics run toward the screaming. You watch them go and wonder how they do it, running toward danger while everyone else is running away. There is the sound of aircraft when the weather clears. The drone of engines. American aircraft sound different than German aircraft. You learn to distinguish them. When you hear American planes, you cheer. Air support, supply drops, relief. When you hear German planes, you dive for cover. Strafing runs, bombing, death from above. There is the sound of snow falling. It is almost silent, but not quite. A soft whisper, millions of flakes hitting millions of surfaces. In quiet moments, you can hear it. It is peaceful. It is also suffocating. Each snowflake is a tiny burden. They accumulate. Eventually, everything collapses under the weight. There is the sound of your own breathing, loud in your ears, especially when you are scared. You try to breathe quietly, to not give away your position, but fear makes you breathe fast, hard. Your lungs sound like bellows in the silence. There is Danny's teeth chattering. From your foxhole, you can hear him in his foxhole. The sound is constant, rapid-fire clicking. He cannot control it. The cold is too intense. You want to tell him to stop, that the sound will give you away, but he cannot stop. So you just listen and worry. There is the sound of your own heartbeat. When the adrenaline hits, your heart pounds so hard you swear the Germans can hear it. Thud-thud, 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 fills your head, drowns out other sounds. You are just a heartbeat wrapped in fear. There is the silence that comes after a barrage ends. It is worse than the noise. Your ears ring. You cannot hear properly. You emerge from cover slowly, looking, listening, waiting for the next sound, the next threat. The silence is full of potential violence. It is a held breath before the scream. There is the sound of men praying, whispered prayers in foxholes, Hail Marys, the Lord's Prayer, Jewish prayers you do not recognize. Everyone prays eventually. Atheists become believers when shells are falling. The prayers overlap, create a murmur, like monks chanting, except these monks are carrying rifles. There is the sound of frostbite. You did not know frostbite had a sound until you experienced it. When tissue dies, when circulation stops, there is a subtle crackling, like ice forming inside flesh. You hear it in your toes, a quiet crystallization, the sound of your body betraying you. There is the sound of supply drops, the drone of approaching planes, the whistle of falling crates, the thump of parachutes deploying, the crash as crates hit the ground. Then the scramble, men running, shouting, fighting over supplies. Sounds like chaos. It is organized desperation. There is the night sound, different from day sound. At night, every noise is amplified. A boot crunching snow sounds like an avalanche. A whisper sounds like a shout. You hear things that are not there. Phantom sounds. Your brain filling in gaps with threats. There is the sound of men breaking. Mental breakdowns are loud. A soldier starts screaming and cannot stop. Or laughing. Hysterical laughter that goes on and on. Or crying. Deep, body-shaking sobs. These sounds are contagious. They spread. One man breaks and others feel the fracture lines in their own minds. There is the sound of death. It varies. Sometimes it is a gasp. Sometimes a scream. Sometimes nothing at all. Just silence where a voice used to be. You learn to recognize the sound of someone dying. The specific rattle. The final breath. It is knowledge you never wanted. All these sounds mix together, layer upon layer. They never stop. Even when you try to sleep, they continue. In your dreams, in your memory, the sounds of the Ardennes will echo in your head for the rest of your life. Silence becomes impossible. True silence. Because even in peacetime, in safety, your brain will provide the soundtrack. the whistle of shells, the crack of rifles, the screams. They are always there, just beneath the surface, waiting. This is what war does to hearing. It weaponizes every sound, turns peaceful noise into potential threat. You will never listen to whine the same way, never hear a car backfire without flinching, never experience a truly quiet moment again. The sounds of Bastogne are permanent. They are the price of admission. You bought your ticket with your presence. The sounds are what you take home, a souvenir you cannot discard. Chapter 26. The Mail That Does Not Come. It is December 22nd. You have not received mail in 3 weeks. 3 weeks without word from home. 3 weeks of not knowing if your family knows you are alive. 3 weeks of isolation that goes beyond physical distance. Mail is lifeline. It is the only connection to the world outside the war. Letters from home are more valuable than food, more important than ammunition. They are proof that another world exists, that you came from somewhere, that you might return there someday. But the mail trucks are not getting through. The roads are cut. The Germans control the highways. Supply convoys are being ambushed. Mail is low priority when measured against food and bullets. The army makes practical decisions. Mail does not win battles. Try telling that to soldiers who have not heard from home in weeks. There is a mail sergeant. His name is Peterson. He has been trying to get mail delivered since the siege began. He has a pile of letters. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. They sit in a tent in Bastogne, sorted and ready for distribution. But they cannot be delivered because the units are spread out. Fighting, moving, dying. The organizational structure has collapsed. Peterson does not know where half the companies are anymore. You visit Peterson. You ask about mail. He looks exhausted, defeated. He shows you the pile. Your regiment's mail is there somewhere. He cannot find it. Everything is mixed up. Units scrambled. Names on envelopes matching soldiers who are dead or wounded or missing. He tells you to come back tomorrow. Maybe things will be better organized tomorrow. You have heard this before. Tomorrow is never better organized. Danny is desperate for mail. His wife is pregnant, due in January. He has not heard from her since November. He does not know if the baby came early, if there were complications, if his wife is okay. The not knowing is killing him. You watch him unravel. He talks about his wife constantly, shows you her picture. Pretty girl with dark hair. She is smiling in the photo, unaware that her husband is falling apart in a frozen forest. Some guys get creative. They write letters even though they cannot send them. The act of writing is therapeutic. Dear Mom, Dear Dad, Dear Sarah. They write about the cold, about missing home, about being scared. The letters pile up in pockets, unsent, but written anyway because the act of communication is human. It reminds you that you are human. You write a letter to your mother. You tell her you are fine. You lie. You say the weather is cold but manageable. Lie. You say the food is okay. Lie. You say you are safe. Biggest lie of all. But these lies are gifts. They will prevent worry. If the letter ever arrives. If you survive to mail it. If the letter joins others in your pocket. A collection of unsent words. They get damp from snow. The ink runs. The words blur. Soon the letters will be unreadable. But you keep them anyway. On Christmas Eve, Peterson performs a miracle. He finds a jeep. He loads it with mail. He drives through German-held territory to reach forward positions. He delivers mail to 3 companies before his jeep hits a mine. He survives. Badly injured. But he delivered mail first. Heroes come in unexpected forms. One of those companies is yours. The mail arrives at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve. It is the best Christmas present imaginable. Your name is called. You have 3 letters. 3. Your hands shake as you take them. You recognize your mother's handwriting. Your girlfriend's. Your little brother's. The same letters you left in your other pocket. But these are newer. Dated December 10th. Only 12 days old. This is recent. This is real contact. You do not open them immediately. You wait. You go to your foxhole. You sit down. You hold the letters. Feel their weight. Savor the anticipation. These letters are from a different world. A world where mothers worry about normal things, where girlfriends plan futures, where little brothers complain about school. Finally, you open the first letter. Your mother's. She writes about the weather back home, about Christmas preparations, about missing you. She says she prays for you every night. She says your father is proud of you. She says to stay warm and stay safe. The words are simple. They destroy you. You cry, not sad crying, relief crying, gratitude crying. Your mother exists. Your home exists. The world outside this forest is real. The second letter is from your girlfriend. She writes about love, about waiting, about the future. She describes her dress for the wedding you planned. She says she thinks about you constantly. She includes a pressed flower, a violet. It is crushed but still purple. You hold it carefully. This tiny flower traveled thousands of miles to reach you. It survived the journey. It is a miracle wrapped in petals. The third letter is from your brother, age 12. He writes about school, about baseball, about wanting to be a soldier like you. You laugh, then you cry again. You want to write back immediately. Tell him no. Do not be a soldier. Stay home. Stay safe. Stay a kid as long as possible. War is not glorious. War is frozen feet and dead friends and sounds that never stop. But you cannot write that. So you will write something else. Something that sounds brave without being honest. Something that protects him from the truth. Around you, other soldiers are reading their mail. Some are smiling. Some are crying. Some are just staring at the paper like it might disappear. Everyone is quiet. The mail has created a bubble of peace. For these few minutes, the war does not exist. Only the connection to home exists. Danny gets a letter from his wife. He reads it. His hands are shaking. You watch his face. Relief, joy, terror, all at once. The baby came. A boy, born December 8th, named Daniel Jr. Mother and baby are healthy. Everything is fine. Danny is a father. He has a son he has never met. A son who will grow up while he is here. Fighting, freezing, maybe dying. The joy is mixed with agony. He should be there. He should be holding his son. Instead, he is in a foxhole in Belgium, reading about fatherhood on stained paper. He shows you the letter, asks if you think his son will remember him, if he makes it home. When he makes it home, you say yes. Of course his son will remember him. You lie again. Babies do not remember fathers who were gone. But the lie is kind, necessary. The mail call ends. Reality returns. The Germans are still out there. The cold is still killing. The war continues. But for a little while, you connected to something beyond the war. To love, to family, to a future that might exist. You put the letters in your pocket, protected in a waterproof pouch. These letters are worth more than anything else you carry. They are proof that you matter to someone, that someone is waiting, that going home is possible. That night you sleep better. The letters are a shield against despair. They remind you why you are here, not for grand strategy, not for military objectives, for the people at home, for mothers and girlfriends and brothers, for the chance to return and be the person they remember. The mail does not change the tactical situation. It does not warm you up or feed you or protect you from bullets, but it changes everything anyway. It gives you a reason to survive the next day, and the next, and the next, until you can go home, until you can mail all those unsent letters, until you can hold your family and tell them the lies they need to hear, the kind lies that protect them from the truth of what this war took from you. Chapter 27. The moment the line breaks. It is December 28th. Patton has broken the siege, but the Germans have not given up. They are still attacking, still trying to take Bastogne. And today they nearly succeed. The attack comes at dawn. The Germans hit your sector with everything they have. Artillery, infantry, tanks. This is not a probing attack. This is a full-scale assault meant to break through. The barrage starts at 5 a.m. You are in your foxhole, trying to sleep, The first shell lands 50 yards away. You are instantly awake. Adrenaline flooding your system. You grab your rifle. You press yourself flat. The shells keep coming. More than you have ever experienced. The ground heaves. Trees explode. The noise is beyond description. You cannot think. Cannot breathe. Can only endure. This goes on for 30 minutes. 30 minutes of trying not to die. You pray. You do not know to whom. To God. To luck. To anyone listening. Please let me survive this. Please. 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 The barrage stops. Your ears ring. You emerge from your foxhole. Smoke everywhere. Fire. Debris. Half your position is destroyed. You look for Danny. His foxhole took a direct hit. There is nothing left. Just a crater. You scream his name. No response. You run to the crater. Dig through the dirt with your bare hands. Find nothing. He is gone. Just gone. Vaporized or buried so deep you will never find him. No time to process. The Germans are coming. You see them through the smoke. Hundreds of infantry. Gray uniforms. Moving fast. Professional. They are within 100 yards. Too close. Way too close. The American line opens fire. Machine guns. Rifles. Everything. You aim. Fire. Work the bolt. Fire. You are not aiming carefully. Just shooting at movement. At shapes. At anything gray. The Germans keep coming. They are taking casualties, but they keep coming. This is a determined push. They reach 50 yards. 40. You can see their faces now. Young men. Scared. Determined. Just like you. 30 yards. The sergeant is screaming to fall back. But there is nowhere to fall back to. Your secondary position is already overrun. You see gray uniforms there. Germans behind you. Germans in front. You are being surrounded. 20 yards. You fix your bayonet. If they get closer, this becomes hand-to-hand. You have never killed anyone with a bayonet. You have never wanted to. You are about to. A German soldier makes it to your foxhole. You shoot him point blank. He falls. Lands half in your hole. His blood is warm. It steams in the cold air. You push him out. Keep firing. Your rifle jams. Frozen bolt. You work it frantically. It will not clear. You throw the rifle down. Grab the dead German's weapon. A Mauser. You do not know how to use it properly. You figure it out fast. Fire. The weapon kicks differently. Sounds different. But it kills the same. The line is breaking. All around you, soldiers are running. Retreating. Routing. The Germans are through. The breakthrough you feared has happened. The position is lost. You run. You have no choice. Standing here means dying. You grab what you can. Leave everything else. Just run. The retreat is chaos. No organization. No leadership. Just scared men running through snow. The Germans are shooting at you. You do not look back. Looking back means slowing down. Slowing down means dying. You run for maybe 15 minutes. Could be longer. Could be shorter. Time is meaningless. Finally, you reach American lines. A makeshift defensive position thrown together from whatever units made it out. You collapse. You cannot run anymore. Your lungs are on fire. Your legs are done. You lie in the snow and gasp for air. Someone is doing a head count, calling names. Danny's name is called. You say nothing. What is there to say? He is gone. Most of them are gone. The unit that held your sector was a company. 140 men. The count comes back. 37. 37 survivors. The rest are dead or wounded or captured or missing. The math is brutal. You are one of 37. You should feel lucky. You feel nothing. Numb. The breakthrough happened. The Germans won this round. They took the position. Killed most of your friends. And you ran away. The guilt is immediate. Overwhelming. You ran. You left Danny. You left everyone. You saved yourself. An officer says you did the right thing. Staying would have meant dying for nothing. The position was lost. Falling back was correct. The words do not help. You ran. That is all you know. You ran while others died. But you are alive. Against all odds, against all logic, you are still here, still breathing, still fighting. The Germans do not hold the breakthrough for long. American reinforcements counterattack. Tanks, fresh infantry, artillery support. By nightfall, the position is retaken. The bodies are still there. Danny is still there, somewhere in the frozen ground. You do not go back. You cannot. Not yet. Maybe never. The image of his foxhole taking a direct hit will stay with you forever. The moment your friend stopped existing. This is how the line breaks. Not dramatically, not heroically, just sudden and terrible and final. Men die, others run. The positions change hands. The war continues. You survived the moment the line broke. This should matter. This should mean something. But right now, sitting in a new foxhole with new foxhole buddies you do not know, it means nothing. Danny is dead. The line broke. You ran. These are the facts. Everything else is just noise. Conclusion. So, how's your day been? How has your day been? Did you complain about the weather being too cold this morning? Did you skip breakfast because you were not hungry? Did you hit the snooze button and stay in your warm bed for an extra 10 minutes? Let me tell you what that looks like from the Ardennes forest in December 1944. Your bed is a miracle. The fact that it is warm is a miracle squared. The fact that you can choose to stay in it or get out of it makes you wealthier than kings. You have climate control. You adjust the temperature of your environment with a plastic rectangle on the wall. You decide how warm or cold you want to be. This is godlike power to someone who spent 10 days freezing in a hole. Your breakfast is a feast. Even if it is just toast. Even if it is just cereal. You have food. Hot food if you want it. You can make coffee in 3 minutes. Coffee that tastes good. Not burnt dirt. Not recycled grounds. Actual coffee. And you have cream. And sugar. And you can drink it while it is hot. You have shoes that fit. Socks that are dry. Clothes designed for the current weather. You can change your clothes whenever you want. You have options. Plural. Multiple outfits. This is almost offensive in its luxury. Your commute to work does not involve being shot at. Your biggest danger is traffic. Not artillery. Not machine guns. Not German tanks. Traffic. Take a moment to appreciate how boring your morning is. Boring is beautiful. Boring means nobody is trying to kill you. You have access to medical care. If your toe hurts, you go to a doctor. The doctor gives you medicine. The medicine works. You keep your toe. This seems normal to you. It is a modern miracle. You can communicate instantly with anyone on the planet. You have a device in your pocket that would have seemed like science fiction in 1944. You can call your family. Video call them. They can see you are alive. You can see they are okay. The soldiers in Bastogne had letters. When the mail got through, which it did not. For weeks, you have heat, and electricity, and running water, clean water, that comes out of a tap. Hot if you want it. You can take a shower. Right now. If you want to. You probably do not want to because you took one yesterday. You have the luxury of being bored by showers. You are safe. This is the big one. You are not in danger. You are not cold. You are not hungry. You are not scared. Your life is not hanging by a thread. You get to worry about normal things. Bills. Work stress. Relationship drama. These problems are real, but they are not life-threatening. Appreciate the difference. Now here is the thing. I am not saying your problems are not real. I am not saying you should feel guilty for having a good life. The soldiers who fought in Bastogne did not freeze so you could feel bad about your warm bed. They did it so you could have that warm bed and enjoy it. But maybe, just maybe, the next time your coffee is not quite hot enough or your socks do not match or your commute takes an extra 10 minutes. Maybe remember the kids in the Ardennes. The ones who would have traded everything they owned for 5 minutes of what you have every single day. They paid the price so you could be bored. So you could complain about minor inconveniences. So you could live in a world where the biggest daily danger is stubbing your toe. Not losing it to frostbite. So tonight, when you climb into your warm bed with your full stomach and your dry socks and your complete set of toes, maybe say a quiet thank you to the soldiers who froze, To the ones who did not make it home. To the ones who came back different. They bought you this peace, this comfort, this safety. The price they paid was cold and hunger and fear and parts of themselves they never got back. The least we can do is remember, and be grateful, and maybe not take for granted the small miracles that make up our everyday lives. Good night. Stay warm, and maybe turn up the heat a little. You can. They could not.